It's really what I prefer. I don't want to dance some other followers pattern that they made up with you and you're now trying to regurgitate on my body. Like, it's just a pet peeve of mine.
That is going to be the intro to the recording of this episode. That was mwah, chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. Mwah.
Hello and welcome to another zany episode of Nerdy West Coast Swing, the podcast with pixels where the anchors are out of this world and the points don't matter. We are here to help train your eyes so you can learn faster and dance better. I'm Cassie Winter.
I'm Alicia Marshall. If you're wondering who are we to be having these pros on with us, Cassie and I both have extensive training and experience in both partnered and solo dancing. Cassie has about 23 years and I'm about 25. So tonight we're so excited because we have Sarah Van Drake with us.
Hi, everybody.
And we were so excited that you were so excited to join us. So.
Well, I'm a fan of the show. I love how much you guys love dancing and West Coast swing and how you're always just wanting to like feel the artists. And that means a lot. So I think it's super cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And actually, we have a special surprise for you tonight,
Really?
Sarah. It came out of nowhere because we spoke with Roro earlier today and mentioned that you were going to be with us.
I love him so much.
And he had a note for you.
Oh, but I can tell by the look on his face.
He was so excited. We actually have her on Nerdy tonight. She's our guest host tonight.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to tell Sarah I said hi. Say we were talking to Ryan today, and he loves you dearly. You should have her tell the story of when I walked up to her in a lobby in Fresno, and she was like 16 years old or 15 years old, and told her that she would rule the world someday. Her mom was there. Her mom and her dad were there. And I had just finished judging her, and I walked up to her and I was like, "Little girl, I don't know who you are, but if you do your work, you will rule the world someday." Tell her that. She'll tell you the story. It's great.
Oh my goodness.
And then her mom went on to go like, okay, her mom like sat me down in their living room, said, "Will you come over to the house?" Sat me down in the living room and said, how do we make you her coach? And that's how I became Sarah's coach. Yeah.
I love that story.
Oh my gosh, he's so gushy. How do I not melt my chair?
I know.
Right.
It's
I just
amazing.
love, it's just so cool to me that just to hear him, I still am always forever a fan. I don't care like how many times I hang out with him and we're family, we're tight, but like still when I see him on screen or he says my name, like my heart goes like this and I get like, I love him. That was really sweet.
Hey, so glad that worked out today.
I'm glad you picked that story because there are some I was like, whoa, what story? Hell.
So that leads us into like I think our first question. What is the short version of your history? How you got started? And because so many of us are familiar with like I know I started like a little over 10 years ago in West Coast Swing and like so I know that, but tell us from the beginning, like how young were you when you started dancing?
Well, I started dancing when I was really young. My mom and dad were really strict on TV time, and we lived up in the country, so I only got like 2 channels, and we could have a half an hour. We got to pick like one show, And so, but they collected records, and they had a room full of records from floor to ceiling, and they said you could listen to as many as you want, and they had everything from like Lou Rawls to the Beatles to Barbara Streisand to like the Drifters to like Iron Butterfly, just such a wide to like Glenn Miller Band, just such a wide Patsy Cline. I could go on, such a wide range of music. And so I would just dance in front of the mirror till we lived in the country. So I had chores. So I fed the horses, watered the horses, chopped the wood. I'm not kidding. And once my chores were done, I had about an hour to like do what I want. And I would always just want to dance. Mm-hmm. And then like certain people in my life inspired me, like the pastor's wife of our church, she got into dance and everybody was like, oh my gosh, she's getting into dance. It was such a thing. And I went and I watched her dance to Black Velvet. And I was like, oh my God, my spirit is free right now. And she was like performing at the college, and I just remember seeing her live, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a dancer. And then like Dirty Dancing came out when I was in elementary school and I wasn't allowed to watch it. So it made me want to see it more.
Yeah.
So that was probably my first like inspirations for dancing. And then, or her name was Anne Blessy, I have to say, because she was my brother's best friend's mom, and she ended up passing away really young from a rare cancer. And at her wake, all these dancers from all these universities came and performed. And then again, she's inspiring me. So just seeing like this next level, I went into cheerleading. But my mom and my dad was always grabbing my mom and spinning her around in the front room. My dad is like very artistic, and he's a love of mine. He loves to dance with me. So he was always spinning me around. And so then we ended up one summer, I got grounded in high school, and there was this place called Just for Kicks. And it was like the country line dancing time. And I went there and started with line dancing, and then got on a dance team, a country dance team. And the night that they taught us West Coast Swing, I was put with Kyle, and we took our first lesson together. We were 15 years old,
Goodness.
30 years ago this month.
Wow.
That is amazing. I've never heard your origin story before. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the video of the week, we thought it would be fun to talk to you a little bit about finding your one as a follow, because I know that's a topic that I've really enjoyed hearing you speak about in the past, and also your uncanny ability to mimic any other pro's one. Like, it's masterful. So
Well,
love to
they're
hear your thoughts on
masterful.
that. Yes, but like you go method. It's amazing.
I just feel like the best way to get good at something is to be a complete fan of it. You know, like you can just tell when somebody, like, it's one of the things actually that leads perfectly into the one. And I've actually feel like I'm constantly shifting my opinion of the one. And I may circle back to like, oh, I like this. And I was like, wait a second, I said that like a long time ago. And then I'll just get like bored with it and maybe try to like, you know, I like the flex of the dance, how it can be done in such different ways. And you have like these era styles. It's almost like fashion. And then you can see that era come back around, but you want to see another twist on it. So it's modernized, or it's like, I don't know, done a little differently than it was before. So yeah, it may have like a 90s vibe right now into the dance, but it definitely has other elements that you clearly know that it's today's dance.
Yeah.
And so I think the one is a telltale sign of like what's going on in West Coast Swing, and the followers one. And not that the leaders doesn't matter, but like the followers really do dictate style, like a lot. Like leaders are very, very much like a part of the structure, and not that but in general, like they get bored with pattern movement. So they stop using the left arm so much, or they start to just go to the right. And followers get bored with like, I don't know, just releasing a hip straight back. So maybe there's a little bit of like a rotation in it, or maybe that like you'll pull that 5 and back sideways, collect that one, and like lean forward with the side, like Tori has moved the dance. Like I did that. And I think if you can, one of the advantages of being around for different eras of the dance is that you now could feed off those different movements. And if you're cool with trying new ones, oh my gosh, the dance has so much more to show. Yeah.
Is there a leader's equivalent? So we have the follows one, but what would you say is the iconic thing that if a leader nails in their individual dancing, everything else will fall into place?
Oh man,
I know I'm being simplistic, but
you know, it's so cliche, but it's how they settle your anchor. It's like, to me, this is like, okay, I'm just going to be myself. It's like when people scrape teeth when they kiss. Like, I'm never going to forget that. Like, even if we're good and it happens once, like Kyle and I have been making out for 20 something years. And like, I know we've scraped teeth 3 times. Like we count, we'll be like 3. because it's that disturbing. Like, and who did that? And what, correct that. Like, to me, like when there's like an abrupt 6 and it's all the time, it's like, okay, like some people, maybe they just don't have a sense for spatial awareness or like when something's about to collide. But like, to me, when a leader can slow me down and not stop my momentum, but like ride the momentum through my upper half to my lower, or from my lower half to my upper, and ride the arc that I'm working with, or that they like initiated into my body. Oh my God, I can find heaven on earth with you. And it's like the best makeout session ever, but not really. You know what I mean? But like not uncomfortable or creepy. Yeah. But it's totally like that. Like, to me, it's like we're agreeable, or the best handshake. I mean, it's the same thing, a really good hug. Like, it's just unforgettable, just like a really bad one. And so to me, you don't have to be a master dancer or really, really coordinated or overly advanced in your rhythms to be able to follow a follower's settle and then pick that up and pluck that one, just like however that arc's happening. Because to me, if a leader's watching like how I'm using that arc down my body, I can now play with how we arc that one and the pattern work and the way we can beat. But if a leader is like, this is how I'm set up for you to anchor off of, it doesn't mean good things can't happen off of that, because they can. But that causes an adjustment for me as a follower. And now I'm working to follow you even harder. It may be a great payoff, but I'm all about less work, more goodness. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Do you have any current like big soapboxes that are like your thing as a judge right now, that are like top of mind and you've been thinking about it for weeks?
Oh, as a judge?
Yeah.
Okay, because I wear a lot of hats and I've got some soapboxes and some under those hats, but the judge part of me, it's more towards not the competitors. It's more towards the system right now. And I'm really trying to figure it out as an event director and as a professional and as a competitor and as a judge, like, and even from a DJ perspective, because one of the things like we did at Swing Time, that was such a risk for us. And we've got to try new things to be able to get the dance to grow. Yeah. And something we did is we had another floor on the side in the ballroom that was social dancing all weekend during the comps. So if somebody's not a competitor, they can be in the ballroom, they can feel the magic, they can still have a place to social dance. Or even if you are a competitor, you could be dancing all day before you go compete, and you feel so much better.
Yeah.
So one of my elements is getting a dancer headspace and body ready before they go compete, and creating a space for dancers in their staging area or something like that, that they feel like, not like, oh, this space is making me more nervous. I feel like I have to be quiet and get in line. I can't warm up with my partner, but it makes sense because the event still needs to run smoothly. We need to make sure everybody's there. So try to find that balance. But right now I feel like, okay, I want to see everybody and to be able to judge a division fairly, because I change cities a lot. So I have to set my grading curve, right? So like, let's talk swing tack. That was such a huge all-star level. And I've got 70 something, say, followers, and I got 32 spots in the semi. So I've got to cut 40 followers. So, well, there's for sure more than 40 of those followers are probably finalist dancers. Yeah. And maybe 20 of them. So I'm cutting like really, really good followers. And so now I go, okay, well, I got to look at my part, but I can't just like watch one dance and decide on that person right now. I do want to see them, give them an equal moment with each dancer. Yeah. So I circle the whole floor to set my grading curve. Then I start watching the consistency of the follow. And then on my third song, I need to be able to wrap up my scoring. Now that's what I do. Because that's me as an individual, as a judge, trying to like, okay, I'd rather give somebody I'm trying to find out, to me, the most important thing in judging in a contest is partnering skills. So to me, I'm looking at, not did you knock it out of the park with one partner, how did you handle that not so great partner? And did you try to overcompensate with a really, really good partner that you outdance them? Were you, I like to watch that balance of a dancer and then see how they do in finals. That's what prelims is to me. And so I would love to see that regulated more. I don't know that everybody's getting judged the same way. Like if I give somebody 2 seconds at a time, or if I just give them 9 seconds, like what's better?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I feel like the big divisions right now, like you can't hang your hat on the results. I know people have said that before, but I don't know. I'd love to see us figure that out,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, says every competitor.
Yeah. I remember when I was at one particular event when I was a baby dancer, and the entire afternoon leading up to advanced Jack and Jill, people were just running around trying to find advanced dancers in the woodwork to have a division because it was so small over 10 years ago. And now not only all-star but advanced are both huge. Like seeing the videos from Swingtacular was bonkers, especially since those divisions were happening simultaneously on the 2 separate floors. It's bonkers.
For somebody like me that just like went through stopping for the first time in 25 years during the panty the past 2 years, like being so like, I can't even go into the process we went through because I don't even think like we clearly completely understand yet. I know it feels good to breathe again. But that fear of like, is my whole world going to be there when I come back? Like, is there going to be the love of the dance? Did people take up kayaking permanently? Like, and if they did, rock on, but please leave time for like, I don't know. I just want to see West Coast Swing thrive. And I believe in the dance and I know it'll pick itself back up, but I'd love to see it. I'm encouraged by how quickly people are coming back to their love. Yeah.
It's been nice to, start seeing everyone out again.
Mm-hmm.
It has. Yeah.
And having fresh videos to analyze. That's
That's also been super nice.
So the next thing happens, like everybody make as much contact as possible. Content. I used it all the past 2 years. I'm like, Kyle, we need some new stuff.
I love the filming teaching space that you two built to be able to live stream and teach online. And why don't you just real quick plug, because I know you two have a monthly membership and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and if anybody wants to come take a look, we have a 2-week free trial for anybody that wants to come in and dive into our library and come see what we do on Wednesdays. 45 weekends a year, or weekends. Oops, I'm so used to saying that. 45 Wednesdays a year. We teach a 30-minute live tune-up from our Gradio. That is our garage that we turn into a studio. And we have multiple camera views, overhead, footwork, sideways, mirror mode, which makes it a lot easier to learn. We basically took all the things. We have a special appearance. You know how you guys have cats? I'm going to come say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
This is who tested out all the camera work for us. So we made sure it worked perfectly. You started school?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, can I finish talking with my friends real quick and you go grab daddy? Yeah? Okay, blow kisses. Hey, Savannah, what's your favorite song right now that you're into?
Romeo.
Oh, what about? Say it.
Sheila's.
By Ed Sheeran. I listened to that song 45 times today. Anybody want to know it? I've got it praised. Okay, bye.
Don't step on stuff. No, careful.
Woo! All right.
Oh, best commercial interruption ever.
Yes, perfect. So yes, and on Wednesdays you may get a special appearance by Savannah Red. Yes, you will. But yeah, it's really cool. You guys, KyleSarah.com, check it out. Our members, we really try to encourage them along the way. We give them discounts on private lessons. We have group get-togethers, discounts on all the events we run. They get 20% off tickets into all the events we run, private lessons. It's a lot of benefits. So check it out. Guaranteed.
Before we started tonight, we gave Sarah 3 video options to analyze, and her choice was her dance with Jordan from Boogie by the Bay, which Alicia and I have analyzed independently. So this is going to be like double dose of fun, and we get to get
It's actually the video
I'm so
where
excited.
I really felt like, you guys, when I watch you talk about my dancing and you'll say something and it's like, oh my God, they're totally right. Like you'll say something that's like going on in my head. And this is one of the reasons I love you guys, because I'm like, no. That is a skill to be able to know that. Like, first of all, you have to be a dancer, which you both are.
Mm-hmm.
And to just like understand the intent through facial expressions. Like, yeah, you guys are badass.
Thank
I love
you.
it. I'm sorry, I'm just moving this like warning sign on my computer.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go
Okay.
ahead and drop the link in the chat. So everybody go ahead, go give the video a watch. And then when you're done, we will get to analyzing.
Yay!
Is there anything you want to share about these two dances before we get into the screen share?
So what year was this?
2019, I think.
Yeah.
Was it 18?
I think 19.
19.
19. Oh yeah, because it was after I had Savannah.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah. So my body just since for the past 5 years has really been through a lot. From with Savannah, having Savannah, of course, was like a lot on my body because we traveled harder than we ever had during that pregnancy. And also after having the baby. Part of the reason was because I had broken my ankle, leg, and foot the year before. And I was literally in a cast on a roller scooter for 9 months. And then had to relearn to walk again. And these promoters held me up. They gave me my job. They still brought me. And now I have a surprise pregnancy. And I just feel like I cannot not show up another year and not like try to like show up for these events and do the performances and all of that. And it's not the pressure they put on me. It's the pressure I put on myself. Yeah. And it's all I know how to do. And then also during that time that I was pregnant, at the time, 10-year-old had just a random seizure in the middle of the night. He started screaming like bloody murder. It was the loudest, most awful scream I've ever heard. And we all ran to the room. He was in a full seizure and then just stopped breathing. And I was holding him in my arms in a cast while pregnant at the time with twins. And nobody knew I was pregnant with twins. We didn't want to really tell anybody. But I did tell Jordan. He's one of my best friends. And so at the time, and Tatiana, and just like my close, tight circle of friends, I needed the support because we knew there was a good chance. I'm 40. I got a surprise pregnancy. There's a good chance something could go wrong. Yeah. And I knew I was going to need the support either way. And so then that happened with Kyler. And, we got him to the hospital. They did every test possible. They found nothing wrong, which at the time I was really frustrated, but the doctors are like, Sarah, be grateful. Like you want to find nothing wrong. Like that's what you do. And then at the time, another pro dancer had dealt with this at like 12 or 13. And his mom reached out to me and really like mentored me and sort of supported me through it. And Kyler, thank God, never had another episode and everything's good. He's off now. But at the time, that made me so stressed out because I was scared to have him sleep. We were scared to have him sleep in the same room. Plus I was pregnant. And then about 8 weeks in, that twins turned into one. And during all of that, we were traveling and teaching workshops and still functioning. So that was between the broken leg, the pregnancy, then I had the baby. We're traveling and now we're at Boogie by the Bay. And I can move on my ankle again, but I don't feel solid. I don't feel good in my body still. Like I'm still nursing. It just, I don't feel like I want to watch me move. And why would anybody else? So there was just nobody better for me to be out there on the floor with than a close friend like Jordan. And so this dance was really cool because it was the first time I felt like I kind of started to like have fun again on the floor or like ease into it, or I felt comfortable, and I feel like he knew where I was at, and he asked me to do Strictly Swing knowing where I was at. So I didn't have to like front for him, and he would help me cover it.
Yeah.
That's why this dance is like, when I watch it, the reason I like it so much is because I know what was going on behind that and how great I felt, doing it.
Yeah.
But I felt so good that I lifted myself off the floor and it took us out. It took us out, and it was my fault.
Yep.
I literally got caught up in the moment. So anyways, that's the only thing that really pissed me off.
It was like we could tell watching. It's like, no.
Oh, my heart dropped, and I could feel Jordan. Like, he knew, and I was like, and he's like, this dance is too good. Screw it. We'll just take the views. Like, like, there's still something to win here. And that's what's cool now. It's like, even if you don't win a contest, you can still move a lot of people, and you're not, it's not getting lost in the VHS, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that story behind.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing.
You got it.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to do the doodly doo with me, Sarah?
Yes. Yay.
To the screen share.
So something that I really, even right there, you could pause. Something Jordan does with his partnership that I feel like I do with mine too, and Jack and Jill's, is we establish framework really quick. So it doesn't mean necessarily it's going to be on like a basic closed frame, but he kind of feels like where you're comfortable moving in your framework to a song. And I'm very clear about wanting to present my framework to a leader. So the fact that he wants that information fundamentally, and I want to give it fundamentally, geez, Sarah, really gives us like a nice, comfortable, clear start every time. And I love that about starting with Jordan. I also like that he like really pays attention to how I'm going to move forward from my chest and back from my hips over the beats. Yeah. Okay. That was it. Yeah,
that's definitely something we talk about a lot on here.
Mm-hmm.
So glad that you mentioned it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's really, really clear. And just even our transitions, like when we're moving through that back foot, if you notice, he's letting me finish my back weight, which is just a sign of a sick ass leader. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love because he's also slightly in front of you, and
Yeah.
he's creating space for your feet.
Totally.
I hate it when like a leader's in front of you and they're like, come towards me, but they're not out of the way.
Uh-huh. And Jordan and I, in general, like in our relationship, we're such eye talkers. Like, I can look at him, he can look at me, and we can have a full conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy how much we're saying. And just after 25 years of friendship, like just an innuendo by a word or a saying that, we were on some cruise somewhere and somebody did something and we all laughed here, or we all thought this, or we all had a moment here. So it's really fun to experience the conversation that goes on between us. And we just laugh a lot at each other. I try to make him laugh. Like, I love it. I love making him laugh.
When you're competing in a spotlight format, is there like a thing that you try to keep in mind? A guiding light, as it were? Is it
Totally.
like a vibe?
Yeah, 100% of the time, I want the person to know that I got them, that I got their back, and that I love them. And that, so many times, like, there's one of two reasons or three reasons I would say I always feel like I'm going to draw somebody. Either I'm totally vibing hard with them and it's just like meant to be, and we're about to create magic, or drawn towards each other,
Mm-hmm.
or we got a beef or unsettled business, or we haven't connected like we should, and we both know it. And so like the universe will put us in each other's arms, or there's an unfamiliarity and it's time that we connect this network, where these two dancers learn to dance together again. I mean, you can see that happening with me and Stephen White right now. I feel like we keep getting put together in Jack and Jill over and over and over again. And I just told him last week, and I'm like, we need to book a Strictly. Let's get in the back of the ballroom. Universe is telling us to create well together, and we need to catch on. Yeah. And I believe in that. And so I always feel like I need to open myself to be present for not like for my life right now. I mean, I've been in thousands of contests. I cherish each of them very much now, even more than ever. But like, I still want to get the lesson, and I want to be where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a great mindset. I feel like it's different than a lot of people's mindset going into all of these spotlight situations. And
it ties back to that partnering element that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking about judging, because it's a partner dance. We're here to dance together. And I don't know how, but that seems to get lost in translation a lot these days.
I know we got to keep going with that message, because like, I don't know, like you could say like, who won this weekend? Anybody remember? Exactly. And it's like, there is going to be so many dances for so many years. And it's like, nobody's going to remember the first place, second place. Like, they're really going to remember the moment. Now, lots of times the first place dance is the most impactful, but sometimes there's other dance that are also impactful. And 5-10 years down the road, they're just going to be looking at the dance. And I think when you have time behind the wheel and experience, you really have that in perspective when you step on the floor. That like, you learn to manage the chaos better. You learn to manage the crazy life going on behind the dancer, and to be in the present and the here and the now. And if you're not, that's when it gets screwed up. Yeah. Every time.
It's true.
Yeah. That's why a nice, like, I don't know, just like putting on some good music while you're getting ready and getting in a good vibe, protect that space. I protect it fiercely. My get ready space.
Yeah.
That one out of that kind of presentation,
freaking love it.
Open, like from
straight to my right hip. Got right here. He puts it. Watch. He puts my hip right in the pocket, right? Not there. It's on the catch. So he initiates, and it's on the prop right here. Got. See that tilt in his hand? So watch the tilt in the hand there, right before that. So it's after the first pull. He does the first pull. He lets my chest catch up, and then my hips get prepped there. And because it's so hidden and it's so tight, it's so good. Yeah. And I like to be steered really like precisely that way. And so it's just this like crazy like enjoyment between top shelf dancers that just refine their art form. We both teach this so much all the time, that as we're teaching the dance, we're installing these techniques in ourselves. And then when him and I get to do these contests for 20 years straight, we get to learn more and more how we like to present on the floor. And so Jordan's somebody who builds really well over the years like that. Like, he pays attention and makes corrections. So do I. Yeah. Such a good prep. Yes, boy.
Because I feel like at speed, someone with a lesser trained eye might see that as a yank.
Oh my God. And it's so like, that's
so juicy. It's so juicy.
It's so clutch. Like, I would take that as a 1-2 every damn day. It is like when you get this great prep where it like your chest is being driven forward, but your lower half is being, he's opening my hip while driving me forward, and you can't even see it. It's such a good lead. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, I dance with a man that like, he breathes this way. Kyle is just like This is why, like, if you're a good prepper, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
money. And he does the guide through, follow through. Like,
Yeah.
he knows what's up. Keeping that right side available to rotate with me at the speed I need. Catching and receiving me at the same time. And again, our weight changes are just like, he's not ahead of me by any means.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's funny, this guiding thing as a leader, like I do that a lot as a leader. But when I'm following and a leader spins and scrolls past me, I tend to give that to them. And then they come out the other end with this funny look on their face of like, that was weird, but I liked it.
Right? Oh, I miss dancing with you. I love also how Jordan keeps me on the right side of him. He stays ahead of me.
Mhm.
So I really get a body lead on that rotation through. Not just the arm follow through, but I'm also getting his rotation of his right shoulder closing in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that matters to me.
Yeah.
It really does. It doesn't feel empty. It feels full. And so also it allows my chest to stay forward and my hip to get thrown back,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many leaders try to be in this moment, but as a body, they're over here instead. And
Yeah.
ah,
100%. I mean, this is like I said, you guys don't miss things like this. And I love that.
I mean, it's just so important to look at the, small things that people don't really talk about,
yeah. I think one of my favorite compliments from students is, I can't unsee it now. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Cha-ching."
That's what's cool about this show is because like you're not just going to see this dance differently. You're going to start to see other dances differently when you can like peek in a little bit and see the cause. Like for instance, Jordan cutting in that way, he's narrowing the slot. He's angling the slot at this point strictly for presentation.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
drawing towards the audience. He's saying, hey, we're about to slot towards the audience. Time to bring them into this.
Yeah.
But without looking at them. He's going to let me do that. And this is like one of my favorite moments, if it's what I think it is, where I lean
Yes,
forward.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, money shot.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Okay.
I just look at his face because he knows I just rolled that ass perfectly. Like he set me up on such good hang time where I could get my chest forward so bad. And then I could add the hip roll at the end. And he just laughs at me because he knows I just was like, next. It's just so good when a leader hooks you up like that, where you can just melt into a movement. And I
Mhm.
just love that he laughs at it because he knows it's just like, that doesn't look as good as it felt, It just did. The way,
Mhm.
and what I love, what I hope people catch is how he's lifting me up and how far he's raising my rib cage is how far he sets my ceiling, and then he lets me hang there for a minute. And so what's interesting is Jordan didn't keep trying to draw up once I started leading my chest forward. And that's where leaders really, really will cut a follower short.
Mhm.
And what he's doing is he's lifting up, he set my ceiling, and then he started to go with me as I came forward to then be able to know how much to counter.
Yeah.
Like instead of like directly pulling up against that, he's like, here's your ceiling. I'm going to find out where yours is. And now I'm going to counter with my body at the same speed and rotation with the free shoulder.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
King. Go.
So good.
Awesome. That's why I'm going to trail that back leg. Now, he originally would want to power up onto a one-footed there.
Mhm.
But he also knows my limitations right now. Like I can't go up on my right foot.
Mhm.
So I'm going to bail out of it and I'm going to milk moments like this to be able to get an audience reaction,
Yeah.
And he
Mhm.
just lets me live in that pocket and it's just so smart. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I love that is one of my favorite spaces to live in. Like just in general, I love just dangling like that arc. You know when you're swinging and you get like really high on the swing and you get that like that lifted feeling where you're almost coming out of the swing and you're like, huh,
Yeah.
and you
The
back
hang
down,
time.
but like you don't like slam back down. It just like is like just the perfect arc and lift. That's what that felt like. Yeah.
Yeah. In 3D animation, one of the most fundamental things you learn how to do is to bounce a ball. And it's all about spacing in frames. So if each picture is just one frame out of 24 per second, what happens is when it's bouncing up off the floor, it's accelerating. So the spacing gets bigger.
Okay.
And then at the top, it starts slowing down because it's fighting gravity. And it really collects and bunches up here at the top. And then as it's gaining momentum again, it gets wider until it touches the ground and then it compresses. And this is that hang time feeling that you're talking about. So it's not static. And
yes, this is awesome. Cassie, you're so smart.
So like I think of this because if I were to like turn this whole like thing a quarter turn to the right, this is a follows anchor.
Right.
And and it works both from like the audience perspective, from a bird's eye view, and so many of the things that we do where we're slowing down, it's the bunching of the spacing, so that way we can accelerate.
Oh, it makes me so happy.
I'll save that drawing. You know, hey, that's a drawing that actually looked like a drawing instead of a nightmare.
This is really cool though, and I love the way you drew it and explained that.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
Yeah, because everything, the reason why they teach that in animation is because physics-wise, basically everything in our universe functions similarly. So if you go to animate a human body walking, you want to think of the hips as that bouncing ball, having the same kind of rhythm to it with that spacing. And so as a dancer, I now see these physics everywhere.
Oh, how cool. It's like once you see it, you can't see it any other way.
Yeah. And then another thing is the arcing of hands. Like it takes a lot of strength and intention to make a sharp corner in movement from a human body. And so if, like you were talking about earlier with the lead with Jordan's hand, if we follow the motion of the handhold, it's always arcing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it did this kind of figure 8 down here, and then it arced upwards. Whoa, I ran into my desk there for a second. But it's an arc. It's not like a hugga.
Right.
It's not
like steppy. Yeah. Yeah. No,
there's
it's so
that hang
good.
time at the top.
Yeah, and the way that I will know rotation is done is when he takes that past the center line of my face, and then I know to give in the rotation. But I also bought myself a little bit more time by rotating my head to the left, if you notice.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, I would have rotated faster.
Yeah.
But that was just to squeeze them just one more second. Yeah.
And it was a magical second.
It's just fun because it's like how you can talk. It's so fun to have a conversation while dancing in such like micro movements. It's just magical. Like it's creative, and it's such a cool way to connect in friendship, you know? Yeah.
And I just love the simple, settled anchor that you two do out the other end.
Yeah. I like that Jordan will let me I find that he'll let me release an anchor a lot more than he does maybe some other followers, only because he can really tell that I love it.
Yeah.
And I take it personal. So I appreciate it. Not that I won't do the other, but it just feels like home to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's even like building his two into his whip a little bit more rotated than he would normally like, because he knows that that's my preference. Like he's doing a great job of working around my defaults when normally I would be a lot sharper to adjust to my leaders. He knows I need that extra care at this point in my body, you know? Yeah.
And I love how you can really see how he's carrying the handhold over his right rail to
Right.
drive you forward. It's not, he's not necessarily like, yes, the hand is coming towards his center because he is shaped the way he is. But as he's rotating back to his left, this handhold is out in front of the right side of his body. Because if it were anywhere across the other side of his body, you would run out of room and run into him.
Totally.
Those little details.
Yeah, the secret is asking wide with that free arm. He's framing really wide, which will keep us being able to catch each other, is the proper way to lead a hustle whip. Also, like he's really got his length going for me, for him. And I tend to really plane sometimes to give a little bit more length. So I'll find that like sometimes and I'm also double jointed in my arms. So I'll even look like over hyperextended just naturally.
Yeah.
Like it's like absurd how hyperextended I can get. And so I think sometimes I may look more extended than I actually am. In fact, I'm sure of it because I have to correct it my students sometimes.
Oh my God, I can see it right there. Oh
right. But I'm not even straight, right? I'm not even straight.
Right.
I'm Maxence Martin.
Oh my
I
goodness.
can hold this, not in the shoulder. I mean, he's another kind of magic, but like my arms so much. And like to a student, that'll look like I'm completely locked out. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I still have another inch to go in my elbow. It's too bad.
When Alicia and I both have connective tissue disorders, so all of our joints do the same thing. So we're like, we're there with you.
Not fun, right? It hurts.
It does. And Phoenix is here. The positions Phoenix and I get into and out of without dying.
My love.
Somehow.
I love my Phoenix fan. I could use that right now. You know it.
There it is.
Perfect cameo.
Wait, let me.
I love it.
That's amazing.
Something. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 1.
Is there something about that whip you want to talk about?
No.
I'd be curious. Love to hear your thoughts because we've been seeing some videos of people doing disconnected rondes in their anchors, and you're doing this with a shortened arm, but it's so clear that you're still connected in your right.
Was that a 6?
Let's see.
That whip.
So 4.
Did he lead?
It looks like you're syncopating in 5 and 6,
or did he lead 5? He stepped 5, 6. That's what screwed with him. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh. Was he wanting a 6 count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. He wanted a power whip, and then he wanted a 1 and 2. Okay, I'm okay with it. Okay, I got it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Huh. I would have played that differently now. I think I did the extra rotation because for some reason I thought we were going to power whip and... Oh, I know what I thought he was going to do because he kept that left side open longer. I thought he was going to take it behind the back. So right there, I thought he was going to go hand change behind the back and rotate his right shoulder back because he stayed open. And he was leading a quick whip. That was just a misunderstanding that is so damn common that this is exactly, instead of me over rotating and hitching inside, I decided to save it with it because I had already committed to the ronde into a catch if it was behind the head. See, I'm wanting to use that leg to over rotate me because I'm thinking I'm going to have to go another whole half a rotation around
Yeah.
And then I could feel him come down. I'm like, oh, snap. I better pull that hip back. It's too late to over rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought we were going behind the back. Common mistake for a short girl because every turn feels high. And so when you go extra high, I think you're extending me for behind the back instead of powering a circle turn.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And he might have still been making his mind up. Like, let's be real. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But damn, our rondes are on time. That's what I love about this cat. Like he keeps them weight changes in check. For sure.
Yeah, the split second calibration that he does when he realizes that there was a
So good.
miscommunication.
Yeah.
I think I really thought he was going to go behind the back.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened is what you see me here doing is actually under traveling the slot. I should have continued to travel down line. As I landed on that right foot, that left foot should have stayed powering down line. He was asking me to. When he saw me not power and go on one foot, he pulled the hand down. But if he wanted that out of me, he would have had different spacing. So that was just a miscommunication. Because the reason he started pulling the hand down, even though we were really, really tight, is because I went onto that one foot and he knew he didn't have the spacing. So that caused me to pull my hips back and bail on the ronde, which is super smart. He stopped a major mistake from happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why it's freestyle right there. I mean, I'd be anxious to hear what his version would be of it.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Maybe I'll ask him just on that one thing next weekend.
Please do.
Like, hey, this one part, what were you thinking, Jordan? I know what I was thinking. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no. I don't know. I should have gone down line, definitely. How about that?
There it is.
You little bitch. Look at me.
But that's another problem because of your size. All you have to do is hug someone taller and they stand up and you're on the ground.
Yep.
I also love to, like, it's just a thing because I'm shorter that it's like a lot of leaders I just fit right like that in moments. And it's so hard. Look at my face.
Your face is amazing.
Oh my God. That right there. Oh shit. Oh my God. That's amazing. Oh my God. I promise you, he's already slowed this down and watched it and laughed. He's like, I promise you, he's already watched this and laughed. But I'm going to make sure he does just in case he hasn't, because that's hilarious.
It's such a good face.
The faces.
Oh my God, look at me. I'm already, he's
doing
laughing. I'm already like, oh my God, don't hate me. Look, he doesn't even, he's just laughing. He already knows I'm.
He's
for
just having
both
a
of
good
us.
time.
Oh, he doesn't, like, honestly, like shit happens. Like if you make a frivolous mistake, that's different. But like, if you just like truthfully were caught up in the moment like that, and like something like that happens, like you can't. Oh, it was such a good dance too, but that's okay. Like I said, give it 2 more years, nobody's gonna know. But right now he's being my cheerleader. He's like, okay, don't check out on me, girl. We got another song to do. We can't like throw it in. We still got an audience to raise up, but I'm still getting good preps.
Yep.
Yeah. I love delaying inside rolls. It's my favorite thing in the whole wide world to do.
Yeah.
It's so much so that I don't even care if I do it too much because it's just, I love it that much. It's like, I don't know, Deborah and the Splits. It's just my thing.
So what are you doing to communicate that that's what you want to do?
It's when a leader gives me a lot of flight down line that I feel like I can play because there's so much travel going on. There's a little bit more play in the rotation. And so I make sure that I'm still like, I want to make sure I end up in the destination that my leader has projected me to land into so that they can keep building off the dance. Not that you can't like make a change. I'm not saying that, but like,
yeah.
Inside rolls are dealing with like rotation, height, speed, flight. Like there's so many elements that like you still you still like normally lots of times leaders are using inside rolls to build to something, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll use it more as like sometimes so I can get more of a stretch at the end by whipping quickly to the end because I've delayed rotation. Well, I'll get a much better press here for whatever he's getting ready to power into, which he is. Yeah. See, oh, I like the angle he got under that. Yeah, see, he's totally getting ready to power into it. So I just gave him just a little bit more gas there by doing that, by powering to my hip. I don't like that free arm on me. I'm overreach on my, sorry.
It's okay.
Um,
It is the curse. Every single follow we've had join us is like that. I think Bryn.
That's so true.
I think Bryn was the worst.
oh my God,
Larissa
Bryn
was the
is
second
so
worst.
funny. Oh, I love it.
She's so hard on herself.
He is. I'm like, oh my God, Bryn. I hope you never hate me. Because although I don't think she could ever hate, but she like, yeah, I'm like, I think you need to put on my glasses how I see you, girl. She's fierce.
She's absolutely incredible.
I think Larissa also was like,
Yeah, Larissa was.
Oh
so
yeah,
hard on
there's
herself.
another one. There's another one. I'm like, you better be nice to my friend. I've heard enough of that. Like, oh my God, you need a coach to make you be nice to yourself. Like, I don't have to tell you what to fix. I have to tell you, I like, to stop being so hard on yourself. I don't know.
Yep.
But I get it. You know what? Like, yeah, that's an overreach. Again, this is me just not knowing the like sides of my body right now because there is so much change.
Yeah.
I know better. Yeah, there's a lot more grace I give myself after like the baby and the broken leg. Like it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So what was really great about, there was something he just did there. Like his tracking right now is great too. Like he's very clearly asking for the right side of my body when he's coming out of here. Which is great. Many times like leaders, they'll go for a right to right or a left to left and won't necessarily, you know, when it's like a free spin. And so it can get confusing which side of the body a leader will want from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets doubly confusing the broader your shoulders are.
Totally. But it sure does. But I also love like the lead off the shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
I'm all about that. Like build a pattern. I love it. In fact, it's really what I prefer. I don't want to dance some other followers pattern that they made up with you and you're now trying to regurgitate on my body. Like it's just a pet peeve of mine.
That is going to be the intro to the recording of this episode. That was mwah, chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. Mwah. It's like, don't take me on the same date, okay? I want to feel special.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, Frisbee, nice. Like, did you see the way that he worked his free arm after mine? So right now he's still following the arms. Like, this is what's cool. Like, it's very, we've got you listening to our arms right now. From there to watch the prep, he'll catch the same speed to come over the top. I mean, it's just so smart. It makes that movement look so much more dynamic, so much bigger.
Yeah.
All because of a free arm. I mean, if free arms ever mattered, right? And he's still setting up a prep on top of that. He's going to put a lead into it that you're not expecting. You don't know whether he has my hip or my shoulder. It was really good. Thumbs up, Jordan. A plus. I love that. I love that lead. I love a pivot with a shoulder roll. I feel like there's just so much opportunity there. We could go down into a drop. We can do a ride. I can go on one foot. We can throw it to the audience. Like it's just and then yet again with the guide. Thank you, sir. Yes. Yeah. Because when you're changing rotation like that, especially with an audience that you're having to present to, really establishing slot for the follower is just so great because now I'm confident where I need to put my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not like trying to reorganize the room because he's pivoting. I just did a shoulder roll pivot, another turn, looking another way. So he's very clear, like, here's your slot, here's your angle, you know? Like even there. So now I have an opportunity I could play at the audience because he's already been clear with me.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not taking it. Again, I'm at this point, I was only okay working with my partner, not working with my audience yet. I wasn't comfortable letting them into my dance that far in yet.
Mm-hmm.
My body just like needed the space, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Arbitrarily clicking the button here. Oh, yes. I chose well.
Yes.
The perfect frame.
Oh my God, you guys crack me up.
Okay.
Kyle and I talk so much through our feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one of the reasons why we just like live in that space so much together is because I just can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like the way he handles his lower half and mine at the same time. But it's not even just that. It's the way that I get to talk and how intricate and how much I get to say. It's like, if you've ever listened to Tatiana and I have a converse, if you were to listen to her and I have a conversation about something and have to do it really quiet and quick and good, we literally could say like 3 words with a couple grunts the whole time and keep just grunting with 2 words and a grunt, right? Like there's just so much that can be said with so little that I almost feel like with Kyle, I can talk over him and he knows what I'm already going to say. So he can cut me off and then say the next part. And I'm already agreeing with him. It's like,
all of it's happening at once.
yeah. And it's like for us, it's always the hard part of us is picking what to pull out.
Mm-hmm.
There's always just so much. Like really lately, it's kind of felt like the way we're establishing is that like we've really just quieted everything down, like a lot. And we really, I think I'm feeling like we really were kind of patterned out and really felt like we were constantly pressed before the pandemic to make these like, I don't know, constant like epic moments that it got to the point where like I would rather shut that down than you shut that down. Like the audience or the dance shut that down on me. And so I think you can see Kyle and I really right now just like setting sometimes like new movement together or playing with more intricate movement so that we can start to pick what we want to drive towards. But really like we've come to a point where rhythm is really where I feel the dance is swinging back to again.
Oh, I hope you're
Has
right.
to.
One of the topics we pitched to Roro when he was going to join us earlier this year was where'd the groove go?
Where'd the groove go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so crazy that you're bringing that up because that's like exactly where Kyle and I are at right now. Like in our workshops, like as we're preparing for ESS coming up next weekend, you know, that's a really like, it's a really intense teaching weekend.
Yeah.
Like really as an instructor, like not that we're not on our mark every weekend because we take it just as seriously, but to do it for 12 hours and 4 different levels,
A lot.
Straight, and to hit it out of the ballpark 12 times in a row with the same time, you know, working this crew and getting the levels and keeping them paced. It really pushes us as instructors in a great way. And something Kyle and I are really, really encouraging dancers to do right now is to get your groove back. And that's crazy that you said, where did the groove go? but like, it like brings me back to the one, like I think a one sometimes, like, I really wish everybody's one was like their personality uniquely theirs, like a snowflake. Like, I don't want to see everybody doing the same one or the same one all the time, but just it's their like thing they build off of. And something that like you're seeing in this dance right here is like Kyle knows that I'm exploring that right now. I'm wanting to like fit my body into the rhythm right now and to grow inside of it and not feel the pressure of like constantly have to be ready for a redirection. Like I need to like feel the different sounds in my body, and not that lead and follow isn't there, but I just need the time right now to figure myself out rhythmically.
Yeah.
And so what was cool about Bristol here is like, this is the first weekend Kyle and I have been without our kids since April.
Oh, wow.
And we just did 7 weeks on the road from like Germany to Phoenix to Liberty to like everywhere to Denver, running our own event. Mom dies, like all this crazy stuff going on that we haven't had like any couple time at all. Like it's literally wake up at 7 a.m. and like just run. And then until we're so tired until we go to bed. And then it's just life right now because we're trying to do a lot. And this is a time for us to like work hard. And this is the first weekend we got away and like we had a hotel room to ourselves and we were able to like eat a full dinner, or I could like get ready and do my makeup and my hair and like, and my, like I had time or like, it just was so great to reconnect as a couple again. And so when we picked this song, it just felt, and then like Steve and Kate are such like connoisseurs of the dance. And then their town of dancers are like, they're training them to be the same way. So like we felt this freedom to like just dance together and have fun. And like the British have such good personalities. Like they're such dry, like humor, and they'll just say it. And I don't know. It was the best weekend. And you can always tell in our freestyles, like how we're feeling. Like we literally got to like walk around the corner and have a glass of wine before our freestyle. Like like the event director made sure we had a really good dinner and like a glass of wine before. And it was just like, yeah, when you dance, whatever you guys are into right now, like it was no pressure,
Yeah.
And you can just see that we're just living and having a good time. This is why I love my job. Because how do you call this a job? Right?
Yep.
I mean, you do when you're flying for 14 hours in the silver medal plane with screaming babies behind you, or the jet lag, or that I miss my little girl that like I got home after this, got to bed at 1 a.m. and at 3 a.m., it's not 3 a.m. in California. She calls me. So I'm out of a dead sleep and she misses me. And then I'm crying all night and I still got a workshop the next morning. So like that happened too. But yeah, this dance was really cool. And again, here's another man really taking care of me while I reestablish myself, into the dance in different ways. And Kyle and I have seen each other through that journey for years. And it's something really cool to like watch us move through different experiences together. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's interesting that you were talking about how you and Kyle were able to kind of reconnect this weekend, because I think I really, really enjoyed this dance when I first watched it. And I feel like it was because you guys seemed like you were really enjoying yourselves and dancing with each other. And I thought that the song choice was perfect for you.
I loved it. Oh, thanks, babe. That means a lot to me. And this Anis, I found him on TikTok when he had like literally 2,000 followers. And I just love that. Like, I love really, this is where, again, it's not always the smartest move. In fact, it's the opposite of it. But like, I can't help it because I feel like I wouldn't do this dance if I always had to pick the most trending song, because I love finding that hidden, unfinished artist in the corner that's about to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bring music to another level. There's something I really, really thrive on finding artists early. It's cool having a 25-year-old and a 15-year-old because they bring me music. Like one of the reasons why I love to get up in the mornings and take Kyler to school is because he shares music with me. And Carter did that too. Like they would play their music for me all the way to school, and I'm just Shazamming it. And like they love my music too. And we really like, that's our thing with our kids is we share music. And like Anderson .Paak is probably what plays the most in our house. Like in general, when we're cooking dinner, our entire family can sing all of his albums. And Beyonce.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but like she's my girl. So Savannah and I, we do Homecoming on Netflix at least once a week. So yeah. But I think artists, the musical artists really are driving the dance into a cool way. I think West Coast Swing is really on the dance itself right now, like the physical dance is growing so beautifully and shaping so beautifully and perfectly, just as it should. And it's been through so much. And there are a lot of people who love it and are working on it and working together on it. And I just think some really cool things are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do. And I'm happy to be a part of it. And I do think like, you know, something that I do miss seeing is, like you were saying, more like partner work. When I'm watching people in Jack and Jill's and Strictly Swings, I love to see those moments happen where like you find like two kicks together, or you find like, I don't know, some kind of partnership moment in it other than just a good dance.
Yeah.
And I think if I could say if there's anywhere I would like to see the dance start heading more, is definitely like once you find a good groove with someone, do something with it. Don't just like keep like, oh, you know, let's disconnect, find another way to connect, disconnect, find another way to connect. Like, especially not in the higher divisions where you find that so quickly and you really have the time to do something cool with it. Take the risk. I think it has to be okay to mess up. Like, that's one of the things I think that makes Kyle so epic. And Todd is like, you know, they're willing to eat shit. And I'm not. No, I mean, I will clean it up. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
So I think last question I have, and if anybody who's here live has a question for Sarah, feel free to like drop it in the chat or raise your Zoom hand if you want to ask it audibly. But I'm curious, if we go back to that, where did the groove go?
Yeah.
What would you want to see like local teachers doing to build that in from the ground up for newer dancers? Because I know I've been seeing people come in with zero background whatsoever, and they're just getting too much technique too soon. That It's not about getting it back. It's that they never had it in the first place.
Yes.
And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
So I'm a big believer in teaching rhythm to both the leader and follower role. In fact, teaching rhythm before teaching a leader and follower role. Something that we'll do is say, okay, that I have newly, I would say in the past few years implemented is we teach the rhythm, walk, walk, triple step at the beginning. And we kind of let anybody start with whatever foot they want at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And we, just when we're saying it, like the first few minutes, introducing the rhythm, and then we'll say, hey, if you want to learn the leader role, you're going to start on the left. You want to lead the follower role, you're going to start on the right, or your first step. You actually won't start on the right, but your first step. And attaching those dancers to the rhythm and getting music playing as quick as possible is huge. And so just by letting dancers work on themselves or having a warm up that attaches the dancers to the rhythm, and it doesn't just have to be walk, walk, triple step. We'll do something where we move in a circle and we'll be doing walk, walk, triple step, walk, walk, triple step. And then we'll play with the different rhythms and introducing that, you know, early on in a dancer's journey in the novice level, maybe not in the intro to West Coast Swing, but definitely in the novice level, just playing with different rhythms. And then something that I really think is important to do is to, when you're counting West Coast Swing, especially with beginners, once you get them into the pattern structure, is to refer to the rhythm in many different ways. Not just walk, walk, triple step, not just 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. It could be boom, ba, boom, boom, ba, boom, boom, ba. It could be walk, walk, triple step, anchor step. It could be walk, walk, travel, travel, triple step. It could be walk, walk, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. It could be step, step, or boom, boom. So you start to like get the dancers to identify those rhythms with those actions with different sounds. And then I also don't think there's enough. This is one of the reasons Kyle and I will start a lot of our workshops with the basics and then put on music. I don't think dancers get to work on dancing the basics to different kinds of music enough, where they get the freedom to like mess up a walk walk. Like a lot of times, if you think about it, when we're working on basics in class, it's because we're tightening them up. We're not loosening them up. We're not like, okay, what's a different way we could take a walk forward with our partner? What's a different way that we can chug down the line? And so many different times, instructors' fundamental techniques in West Coast Swing basics have stylistical moments, and they would have to break their own fundamentals to free up those moments. So I think it even starts with like teachers training. I think we need a lot more teachers in teachers training. I know Kyle and I are building a program, but not telling people what to teach in West Coast Swing, but teaching them like how to teach it and how to identify your instruction to you as a dancer. Because ultimately, the more you teach, the more you explore and learn about West Coast Swing. I wish people would teach West Coast Swing, even if they're not teachers. It would make them so much better if they could just teach it to one person. Like, it'll blow your mind. I challenge you. Like, just teach it like this holiday season. Grab the drunkest relative or like, and see if you can sugar bush, and you will be blown away what you find out. Yeah. Anyways, about your own dancing.
Yeah. I think, I know if Roro were here with us, you'd know the cognitive science behind it, but it has to do with shifting it from the right side of your brain to your left side to verbalize it. It crosses wires in ways that helps you understand what you're speaking to better.
Yeah. Nailing it. And everybody learns differently, in that class. So like as an instructor, you have to be giving that lesson in as many different ways as you can in that one moment. Another reason why it's really important, if you can be constructive in workshops with your instructor, if you can guide them along the way, there's nothing better than a good question in a workshop. And a good question is any question that's framed in a way that encourages an instructor to feel free and comfortable answering it. And it's okay as an instructor to say, I'm going to get back to you on that. I haven't learned that yet. Or I need to think about that for a minute. Can you give me a couple minutes and I'll come back to you at the end of class? Seeking knowledge as an instructor is one of the reasons why you'll see me still take from my original coaches, like Robert Royston, or Charlotte Bott, or my peers that I'll check in with, because there is that consistency. And it means a lot. Yeah. Anyways, I could go on for hours, you guys.
Yeah. Okay. I got one last really quick question for you. Because I remember one night, I think I was late night. I was sitting next to Katie Schneider and we were watching you dance. I forget. It doesn't matter who you were dancing with, but she was like, I want to be Sarah when I grow up.
Oh, stop. I want to be her when I grow up.
Well, I was wondering who like right now is your biggest dance crush?
Oh, dang.
That's a question.
Get myself in trouble here. Oh, dang. Okay, my biggest dance crush leader right this second, like right now, is Ken Rutland, hands down. I'm just vibing with him.
I don't think you're alone. We've been catching all the follows.
And it's been really weird because like when we first started dancing together, like it wasn't that it was bad. It just like we didn't find, like it took us a minute to find our flow. And I remember the time we did it was at Swingcouver in 2019, Sunday night, late night. And we just had this dance and I was like, oh my God, this is like, we just found we like kept dancing. Like, we're going to keep this going for a few more because it was so good. And ever since that moment, like, we can always get back into our groove. Right before the pandemic ended, I had like an amazing night with Yakub where we like just went in the corner and we had never like totally dived into dancing together. And we were both just like addicted and both wrote each other like a 4-page letter afterwards. It was just like, yeah, I can't even put it into words. It was just epic. And then followers. Oh my, that's a tough one. Followers I am feeling right now. I mean, you know who shocks me is Emily from Glenn and Emily, for the reason of, I think she's been really thrown into the fire quickly.
Yeah.
Like the jobs that she's having to take on, the position she's having to hold with the amount of experience she has.
Yeah.
And I think what I really dug about her at Liberty was how she came into the followers panel, the finalists chairs, and really like didn't compromise like who she was and her vibe, but at the same time like really like mingled well and clicked in good. And like she just like brought this weight to the division that really felt, we didn't know we needed it till she was there kind of vibe. I really, really love the energy she's bringing to the sisterhood of West Coast Swing. Like, I dig that. It's like, I don't know, like the last person I feel like really did a good job of that is like when Victoria came in. She was really, really cautious of acknowledging, like, you know, you're sitting with your coaches all of a sudden and now you're competing with them. And it's a lot. And it's a lot to know like how to not act awkward or not to fangirl out, but yet still hold weight for yourself because you work to belong there. Like, it's a really hard thing to balance. And so over the years I remember balancing it myself. And then now it's like, gosh, I want to make sure I'm welcoming. And when somebody is nervous, that I defrag that, because I'll never forget when like Marianne Nunes like calmed me down, or, you know, or somebody like Scalise Key just is like, come on, this is how you do it. It really means a lot to me, or a Deborah, that like just these girls before me that just like calmed me down a little bit and helped me. And I want to be that. But like Emily, so when I went to go do that, like she was already good to go. It was just fine. I'm also really feeling Cameo. Like, I just feel like Cameo right before the pandemic happened, she was like blowing that, like, and she's a swing baby, but she's really like beautifully, to me, she's like, the word blossoming is like such a creepy word sometimes, but it's like the perfect word for her. Like, it's like this beautiful, like, it keeps getting more magnificent and more color and more expansion. And I'm just really, really digging. She surprises me all the time. Like, she's like a sleeper cell. Like, she comes in, she's real quiet, and then all of a sudden they're like, bam, Cameo. I'll take that. It's just amazing. I love it. And I love watching her and Kyle. I just dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we analyzed one of theirs, so
We did.
link it above in the recording.
I love it. I love it together. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody else, and not that I don't dig like all the other girls. I really do. And men. Like, I love that we're getting really, really solid, like, male leaders or male followers. I love that we're getting solid female leaders. I love that I'm seeing the art of it in their bodies. And it just, to me, is really a great way to show how West Coast Swing is just unstoppable. Like, when you've got enough good people around to dance, like, it's just going to build. I can't wait to see what it grows up to be. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
for sure.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I think wrap up for tonight.
Yay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And thank you for having me be a part of this so much. I love it.
KyleandSarah.com, correct?
KyleSarah.com.
And if you are not already subscribed to Nerdy West Coast Swing on YouTube, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Please help us get to 1,000. We have been so close for so long. Help us.
Do it. I'm gonna push you over, girl. I'm gonna clip this out on my
Yes, do it.
I'm gonna be like, look, time to get nerdy, people.
Well, we will be back at some date in the future.
You got it.
Yeah.
Anytime. Thank you, you gorgeous humans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and everybody, like Azure, like don't forget, it's summertime. Like, let's not forget.
Yes.
Also,